Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE NXT review for June 28th, 2017. I know I missed it this week. I really don't remember why I missed it. I think it just kind of happened. I guess forgot it was on. I don't know. But I'm here to watch it now. And from what I remember, this NXT actually looked like a pretty decent episode. You have a last woman standing match coming up for the NXT Women's Championship between Asuka and Nikki Cross. You know, this is a feud that's been going on since January, maybe even December, because Nikki Cross has been obsessed with Asuka, wanting to take that NXT Women's Championship from her. So I think, you know, makes sense for them to have this last woman's past standing match. Still not a fan of Nikki Cross, though. I hope this is the last NXT Women's Championship match she ever gets until she gets a new character. What else did they announce for this show? They didn't really announce anything else, but I expect some hype coming up from since NXT is having its 400th episode next week, so I expect some hype for that. But now that I've kind of talked about this stuff, let's get right into it. I want to structure my review where I'm going to watch the show, and after each match or segment, I'll come on here and talk about it and then combine it all into one video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's get right into it. Okay, so first, they had the first episode of NXT Insider. This is pretty much going to be, I guess, a pre-show of sorts for NXT every week. I don't mind it. It's only 5 minutes, and it kind of gives you all the breaking news and stuff going into the show. And it's only 5 minutes, so NXT is an hour, so now NXT is like an hour and 5 minutes, so I really don't mind that. It was hosted by Kathy Kelly, so I'm glad it finally gives her something to do because she deserves, you know, I think she's pretty talented at being a broadcaster, so I think she deserves the spot. And she talks about some breaking news. She talks about ONeill, how he's back now with WWE, and how he's going to be doing commentary for NXT. I'm really excited about that. I haven't really been able to talk about it because I haven't had the opportunity, so that's why I'm glad I sat down and watched this. Obviously, everybody knows what happened with ONeill, how he was pretty much bullied by JBL, at least accusations that it was, and then he ended up leaving SmackDown. And it looked like he was going to be done with WWE. Well, I'm guessing they came to an agreement. And I think NXT is a perfect fit for ONeill. I think I'm actually really happy he's back, coming back to WWE. I actually can't wait to see him and Nigel McGuinness on commentary together. You know, it gets Tom Phillips off commentary because obviously everybody knows I'm not a fan of Tom Phillips on commentary. I just think he's terrible. I think NXT is the perfect place for ONeill to be. It's his type, more of his type of wrestling, because it's more of a wrestling, like it's still entertainment, but it's more of a wrestling thing. So I'm actually happy that he's, going to be doing commentary for NXT. They're going to be the play-by-play guy, because I think he could do really well at that. Since NXT, like I said, NXT focuses more on like wrestling than entertainment, and I think that's what ONeill would have to deal with. He also doesn't have to deal with Vince McMahon constantly being in his ear. He can actually be himself on commentary, and I think it's actually great. So I think it's win-win. You know, also like I said, gets Tom Phillips off commentary, because Tom Phillips, he was just everywhere on commentary. He was on NXT, SmackDown, and 205 Live. It was just getting to be too much. So I already hate the guy enough on commentary and as a person. So thank God he's going to be doing commentary for NXT. I think that's great. So I'm happy about that. You had various superstars talking about it. Roderick Strong tweeted about it. Bobby Roode tweeted about it. She also talked about the feud between Roderick Strong and Bobby Roode. It showed a tweet talking about how Bobby, because they're going to have a match next week on the 400th episode of NXT, and Roderick, it showed Roderick Strong tweeting out that he's going to regret disrespecting his family next week, and how he's going to win the NXT Championship from him. and Bobby Roode said that next week is just going to be glorious, and he says that you're going to regret. And he said that he's going to put Roderick Strong in his place, kid. So I'm looking forward to seeing the match between Bobby Roode and Roderick Strong next week. And then they did an interview segment with Ember Moon. And Ember Moon talks about how she's ready to be back and better than ever, and she's ready to move forward and go against Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship. And she talks about, how she's going to watch footage and train and do everything that she can to get back to that, to face Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship. Then we had an interview segment with Sonya Deville, and she said that she's not here to please the fans. She's not here to be the typical girl you see coming NXT. She's here to beat people up and either make them tap out or knock them out. And then that was it. And then that was pretty much the end of it. I thought this was actually pretty good stuff. It's a good way to build up the show. And like I said, it's only 5 minutes, so really, I would suggest you watch it because I think it's great. And now that I've talked about this, let me actually start reviewing NXT itself. Okay, so we had the actual show itself. We had Showtime Percy Watson, Nigel McGuinness, and none other than ONeill on commentary. And I did like how they presented him. They had Nigel McGuinness be the one that actually speak and introduce the show, and then they introduced ONeill. I didn't think he was actually going to be doing commentary for this episode because I thought this was going to be taped. Tom Phillips would still be on commentary. But it's great that ONeill is on commentary. Like I said, I think NXT, because the commentary team wasn't the best. They had Tom Phillips and, Percy Watson's getting better. But now that ONeill is on commentary, I think, not saying that he completely makes it better, but hearing Nigel McGuinness are doing really well on commentary together so far, I think he can make Showtime Percy Watson better on commentary, so I'm happy about that. It does suck the first match he had to call, though. The first match was the Velveteen Dream versus Ho-Ho Loon. Yeah, this kind of sucked. I mean, the match itself was a squash and stuff. It really wasn't bad or anything. I really wish that for ONeill's first match, he could have called a commentary. It could have been a different match. And he hasn't missed a step. You would have thought, because he hasn't been doing it in a few weeks and stuff, that he would be kind of a little bit rusty, and he hasn't missed a step. But the Velveteen Dream squashes him. He hits a big boot, a jackhammer, and an elbow drop for the win. And yeah, they're still pushing the Velveteen Dream, and I don't get why. It makes no sense. And this gimmick, just like I've talked about before, doesn't fit him. I definitely think he's going to be somebody that's going to be in jobber territory in a couple of months, so whatever. But overall, this was alright here. Really cool to see the return of ONeill. That was awesome. Okay, so next, Asuka gets interviewed, and she gets asked about how she feels about going into a last woman standing match against Nikki Cross, and then she says that I'm confident, and then the car stops, and we see Nikki Cross is up on the car and wants to get at Asuka. Why the fuck would you run in front of a moving car? I know you're nuts, but have a fucking brain. But yeah, the security has to hold her back, and Asuka wants to get out and attack her. And yeah, like I said, I really hope that they stop pushing Nikki Cross, because I don't like Nikki Cross. This segment was weird, and it was just stupid. Why would you run in front of a moving car? Made no, come on. I get you're nuts and stuff, but have some common sense. But whatever, it was just whatever. Okay, so next, William Regal, Heavy Machinery, the Authors of Pain, and Paul Ellering are backstage. And William Regal announces that next week, the Authors of Pain will defend their NXT Tag Team Championships against Heavy Machinery. And Heavy Machinery starts saying some strange stuff to the Authors of Pain. And then when they walk away, Paul Ellering's like, where did you find those guys? And then William Regal says, I understand that Heavy Machinery is a bit strange, but I would be worried and be well prepared for them because they've proven that they're well formidable opponents for the Authors of Pain. So overall, I thought this was a good segment here, and I can't wait to see this match next week between Heavy Machinery and the Authors of Pain. I think it would be a good NXT Tag Team Championship match. Alright, so the next match was ONeill versus Hideo Itami. This was the match. I'm not joking. ONeill immediately hits an uppercut on Itami, beats the shit out of him in the corner. Referee holds him back. Itami gets busted open. And then, like, they have to stop, like, they hold Lorcan back. And they have to clean up the blood. And then the match ends. Because I guess they felt Itami couldn't continue. What the fuck was this? Like, I guess Lorcan won since Itami couldn't continue. Was it? I don't know if this was legit. I don't know if this was a work. I really don't know. Because it didn't seem like it. Because it didn't seem like it was a work. Because if it was a work, why wouldn't Lorcan stop beating the shit out of him if this guy laid him out with GTS's 3 times? That doesn't really make any sense. I definitely don't think this was a work at all. It doesn't seem like it was. This was dumb though. Like, I don't get, like, I get, like, you want to have a safer wrestling company and stuff. You don't want guys getting injured. But why the fuck don't you just let them bleed? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you literally stop the match and don't let the guy bleed. I was looking forward to this match too. Like, I was like, yeah, and then like what the fuck was this? Is this supposed to build character? I don't know what the fuck this was. So yeah, this was a dud. This was dumb. I hated this. Okay, so next it plays a video package from the build-up for the NXT Championship match between Bobby Roode and Roderick Strong. You know, it talks about Roderick Strong's story, about how I've talked about it before, so I won't go into as much detail as I did before. But it talks about how you know, how he lived in a trailer park home, how, you know, his mother had defeated addiction. You know, after the whole situation where his mother ended up shooting his father, and how you know, wrestling saved his life, and you know, it made it feel like that not everything's going to be okay, but you can still love stuff. You know, it shows the segment where he said he wanted the NXT Championship, about how it's him and his family versus the world. Then it shows the segment between him and Bobby Roode, where Bobby Roode told him not to play the Bobby Roode lottery. And Roderick Strong says that his story is not over yet. It shows the segment last week where Bobby Roode and Roderick Strong got into the brawl before that, you know, during last week's show. And then Roderick Strong, you know, talks about how without the NXT champion, Bobby Roode is pretty much nothing. Bobby Roode is defined by the NXT championship. And then Bobby Roode talks about how he's going to end the Roderick Strong story and how Roderick Strong is not man enough to hold the NXT championship. And then Roderick Strong says that he's going to end his story by finally validating it with the NXT championship. And I can't wait to see this match next week. And I'm really excited for this match, actually. I think this is going to be a really good NXT championship match. And I really don't know who's going to win, because it's the 400th episode next week. You know, you have Bobby Roode, who's doing really good things with the NXT championship. Are they going to want to keep the championship on him? But if they want to make the 400th episode feel big, and if they want to really end the Roderick Strong story, you can put the NXT championship on him, because they really seem to be behind him. But I don't know who you really put over in that situation. Maybe I would say Bobby Roode, and then you throw it, and then you wait, because I think the story will be better told and the moment would be bigger if you waited till NXT Brooklyn 3 to put the NXT championship on Roderick Strong. But that's just me. But I really enjoyed this video package here. Okay, so the next match actually was Hideo Itami versus ONeill. Hideo Itami came back out. He called out ONeill to come back out, and he did, and the match continued. So I guess that's, at least it wasn't that was the end of the match. I'm pretty happy about that. and Hideo Itami immediately hits a big boot in the corner. He beats the crap out of ONeill Lorcan. He jumps off the top turnbuckle and hits a knee right to the back of the neck while he's hitting up against the top rope, and he covers him. Lorcan kicks out. ONeill Lorcan tries to make a comeback. He hits an uppercut. He hits a blockbuster on Itami, covers him. Itami kicks out. Then eventually Itami tries to go for a GTS. Lorcan fights out of it. Itami goes after his knee, and then Lorcan acts. Knee gets injured in the match, and Itami wants to know if he can continue. And Lorcan pushes him back. Itami picks him up and hits the go to sleep on him for the win. So they're still kind of showing signs of a heel turn for Hideo Itami. But I'm like that they did this. I actually like what they did now. It made Hideo Itami look tough as hell that he came back out and wrestled this match, even with a broken nose. And I thought it was good. So I guess it was a work. I wasn't sure what it was at first. So I'm going to take back what I said about the match originally when I talked about it. But I didn't, like I said, I was watching it live. How could I have known that he was going to come back out? So I thought this was good stuff here. Then afterwards, he asked Cassius Ohno to come out, and Cassius Ohno comes out. And before anything can happen, Alexander Wolf, Nikki Cross gets on the ropes, and this distracts Itami and Ohno. And Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane attack him from behind. They throw Itami out of the ring, and they hit like a powerbomb neckbreaker combo on Ohno. And Alexander Wolf cuts a promo talking about how all these friendships and stuff are just forced friendships and lies. And he says that Eric Young has a master plan that he's going to play with his instrument, pretty much saying he has a master plan about what he's going to do that he's going to be revealed later. But as for tonight, Nikki Cross is going to take the NXT Women's Championship and win the first ever last woman standing match. That's pretty much the gist of the promo. It wasn't really a bad and Cassius, and they say that the way that they're going to put aside these friendships and then Killian Dane says Chaos. So I didn't think Alexander Wolf was all that great on the mic, but this is the first time he's really had to cut a promo, so I'm going to cut him a break. And yeah, where the hell was Eric Young though? Why didn't he come out? But it didn't really make any sense. So I guess they're going to continue this feud with like a Tommy, Ohno, and maybe they'll put in like a third guy. Maybe No Way Jose, since he's still kind of in the feud with Sanity or ONeill Lorcan, one of the two. So I like that they're keeping Sanity strong, and I still like Sanity. I still think it's a pretty strong faction. So yeah, overall I thought this was good stuff here. Okay, so let me give you guys my overall thoughts on this week's NXT, and then I'll give my star ratings for each match. I thought this was actually a good episode of NXT. Nothing fantastic, but I thought this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I thought the beginning was not the greatest. You know, I didn't really like the Velveteen Dream match. I didn't really like Asuka's backstage interview where Nikki Cross ran in front of her in the car. That was stupid. But then I definitely thought, and then obviously at first, as you saw, I thought the whole ONeill Lorcan and Hideo Itami match was stupid. But then I thought that rest of the show was good. I really enjoyed that video package building up to the NXT Championship match for next week. I enjoyed the backstage segment building up to the NXT Tag Team Championship match. And then eventually, you know, when ONeill Lorcan came back out and still fought Hideo Itami anyways, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed NXT Insider. I'm probably going to forget something, but I also enjoyed, and then also, obviously, I enjoyed the NXT Women's Championship match. So overall, I thought this was a good episode of NXT, so if I had to rate it, I'll probably rate it a 7 out of 10. As for my star ratings, for the Velveteen Dream Ho-Ho Loon match, I'm going to give that 1 star. I just really didn't care about it. I know it was a squash and stuff, but I just don't care about the Velveteen Dream. For the Hideo Itami ONeill Lorcan match, I'm going to give that match probably 2 3/4 stars. I thought that was a good solid. No, probably 3 stars actually. I thought that was actually a good solid match, and I kind of like how they made Hideo Itami look tough. Another thing I didn't even mention too is I also enjoyed what they did with Sanity this week. You know, having them come out and beat down Itami and Cassius Ohno. Now it's going to lead to a tag team match next week between Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf, and Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno, where I expect Hideo Itami to finally turn heel on Cassius Ohno, which I think would be cool. And and obviously when I mean by next week's episode of NXT, I mean this week's episode because it says it's July 3rd now. I also enjoyed though I enjoyed the Hideo Itami ONeill match. And obviously, I do enjoy the NXT Women's Championship match for my star rating for that match. I'm probably going to give that match 3.5 stars. I thought that was a really good NXT Women's Championship match there. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my CM Brothers or No One the Talkinator channel because I'm going to upload some content on there this week. And make sure to subscribe to this channel because I'm going to upload some content on here this week. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later. Okay, so obviously I know I'm in a different scenery, we're in a different shirt. That's because I'm recording this on a different day. I recorded the other videos on July 1st, 2017, and I'm recording this one, which is going to be probably the day today, which is the day it's going to get uploaded on July 3rd, 2017. I just got busy. I went to a 4th of July party, and then I came back, and then I had to help get ready for 4th of July, so that's why it took me so long to finish watching the show. But then we had the main event. It was a last woman standing match for the NXT Women's Championship. NXT Women's Champion Asuka versus Nikki Cross. I thought this was a really good main event here. I really enjoyed it. I will admit, Nikki Cross did pull out a good performance here. I've always been trashing Nikki Cross, talking about how she's terrible and stuff. And maybe she isn't terrible, but like I said, it's just this gimmick I don't care for, and the moveset she hits, I just don't care about. And I still don't think that's going to change. It's just I also kind of go with who she's been in the ring with lately, and she's been in the ring with Asuka, and Asuka can get a good match out of anybody, and I mean anybody. But we had the match here, and Asuka goes immediately to hit a kick to the head, but Nikki Cross moves out of the way, and Nikki Cross takes down Asuka, starts bashing her head down on the floor, which I hate that move, just terrible. Then Asuka charges at her in the corner, throws Nikki Cross out of the ring. She goes for a drop kick on the outside. Nikki Cross pulls up the skirt of the apron and starts attacking her. Asuka while she's trapped in the apron, and then she uses this to pull out a crap load of steel chairs on the outside, and Asuka's able to fight out of it. They try to hit superplexes on the stack of chairs on the outside, but they both keep countering it. Cross throws Asuka into the steel steps, and then Asuka's able to get up from that. Then Asuka bounces Nikki Cross's head repeatedly off the other side of the steel steps, throws it back in the ring. She grabs a trash can. She hits Nikki Cross in the ribs with it, puts it on her head, and starts kicking her in the trash can while it's on her head. Then she hits a drop kick to Nikki Cross while she still got the trash can on her, but Nikki Cross was able to get up from that. Asuka continues to dominate. She does this move where she bends her leg back and kicks Nikki Cross in the back of the head, and then she goes and grabs a crap load of chairs herself. But Nikki Cross prevents her from putting in one of the chairs and pushes Asuka into the guardrail. And then she goes to go off the apron. Asuka catches her with a big kick to the head, but Nikki Cross was able to get up from that. And then Asuka goes to hit like a suplex while she's on the apron. Nikki Cross counters into an inverted DDT on the apron, but Asuka was able to get up from that. And then Nikki Cross tries to hit a superplex on Asuka to a stack of chairs that Asuka threw in the ring, but Asuka was able to counter it. She hits a kick to the head, and then she hits a hair, which is like a snap mirror, except she grabs Nikki Cross by the hair and just throws onto the stack of chairs. And then Nikki Cross hits a back suplex on the stack of chairs immediately afterwards, which I didn't really think made any sense. She just got thrown onto a stack of chairs, but yet you're still able to hit a back suplex on someone right afterwards. I think that I didn't really like that spot. But they're both able to get up, and then Nikki Cross hits four Fisherman's neck breakers in a row on Asuka, but Asuka was still able to get up from that, and Asuka's all weary. Nikki Cross goes to hit her with the NXT Women's Championship. Asuka kicks her in the head, and the championship ends up hitting Nikki Cross in the face. Nikki Cross was able to get up from that. Nikki Cross hangs Asuka up on the top rope. Then she hits a power bomb off the apron on to the outside, onto the stack of chairs onto the entrance ramp, which I thought looked like an awesome spot. And Asuka was able to get up from that. Then they start brawling up the ramp, and Asuka goes to hit like a German suplex off the entrance ramp. But Nikki Cross counters it. Then Asuka throws Nikki Cross off the ramp. She hits a hip attack from the ramp onto Cross, but Nikki Cross was still able to get up from it. Nikki Cross, then they stop brawling to the commentary table, and Asuka goes to kick Nikki Cross, but she ducks and she hits up hitting one of those lights, like LED lights, and this takes out Asuka's foot, and which I thought was great because obviously it told the story where Asuka couldn't stand up. Then Nikki Cross hits the fisherman's neck breaker off like the guardrail that they had set up there onto the floor onto Asuka. But Asuka was still able to get up from that. She like barely got up. She got up at like 9, which I thought was awesome. Then they stopped brawling like to the back. Nikki Cross hits Asuka with the ladder to the ribs. She bounces her head twice off like a table they had. She sets up a table, sets up a ladder, and goes to jump on off the ladder right through the table on Asuka. But Asuka fights out of it, and then she ends up hitting a superplex from the ladder through the announce table, and both women are down. Referee starts counting, and Asuka gets up just in time and beats the 10 count, and Nikki Cross does not. And Asuka retains the NXT Women's Championship, and afterwards you see Nikki Cross having that evil smile afterwards. But yeah, I thought this was a really good last woman standing match for the NXT Women's Championship. I really hope, though, that Nikki Cross gets out of the title picture because she does not belong in this championship picture anymore. Asuka, I expect her now to move on to feud with Ember Moon. Like I said, I don't think they want to do anything with that feud until NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. And that's still like a month away because it's still like it's in like August. So I definitely think they're going to slowly build up to that. But overall, like I said, I thought this was a really good NXT Women's Championship match here. I thought it made both competitors look really well done. And to think about it, too, this was the first time ever where the women's wrestling was the main event for all 3 shows. On Raw, you had the gauntlet match for the woman, where the winner wrestled for the Raw Women's Championship at Great Balls of Fire. On SmackDown, you had the Women's Money in the Bank match. And this show, you had the last woman standing match for the NXT Women's Championship. And I'm just saying this, but I thought this was the best match out of the 3. The Raw Women's Gauntlet match was kind of stupid for reasons I've already mentioned. The SmackDown Women's Money in the Bank just felt like a waste of time since the same person won that won at the pay-per-view, and it ended up being a better match than what I paid for. Like I said, shouldn't have even happened to begin with. At least this match made sense. I could say it shouldn't have happened because pretty much the match was stopped in the triple threat just because they went in the backstage and brawled. But I still thought this was really worth watching, and this was definitely worth checking NXT out for. So overall, I thought this was a great, a really good last man standing match. I totally would recommend it.